And welcome back to Open. Jared Kushner is back in the hot seat in the midst of the Russian investigation. According to reports from the Washington Post, Kushner sought secret back-channel deals with Russians in his December meeting with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. Investigators are trying to figure out why he met with the Russian banker along with the Russian ambassador. In other news, former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn will also officially hand over documents that were requested by the Senate committee by June the 6th, along with personal documents, according to inside sources. Now, joining us to talk about the latest topics, we welcome now our political commentator and owner of Retrovision Media, Lee Bynes.
Good to be here.
Lee, good to have you again.
Uh-huh.
Stays busy, huh?
Not a dull moment.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this here as we talk about Jared Kushner. Obviously, not a good look for Washington or the Trump administration with this going on. This, as we know, White House staffers are in the process of resigning, fired. What can we make of this?
Well, nothing good, but let's try and put things into context right now with regards to Jared Kushner, married the boss's daughter, pretty much protected right now by Donald Trump and forces in the administration. However, I want to protect my own credibility because a lot of people are running with these stories, and these stories are essentially being driven by anonymous sources and leaks. That said, I would say that what's happening in the Trump administration right now, those who are getting ahead of their skis would be wise to kind of pull back on the leaks and the anonymous sources and focus primarily on what we actually know. And that is, we know that the Trump administration, the Trump campaign, all of his associates have something to hide. What? We don't know, but we do know there. And I would think that it would be smarter to focus on the cover-up as opposed to the crime, simply because the crime, if there are any there, it's going to take some time to sort out. And when we want to discuss, get into depth with regards to what Jared Kushner did, we have to remember that opening up a back channel with another nation is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it happens on a regular basis, pointing to Barack Obama when he opened up a back channel with Iran in order to get what he needed done before he announced what was happening to the public. Without doing that, he would have faced so much heat from the Israelis, from Congress, that that deal may have never gotten off the ground. But where Jared may have crossed the line, if you will, is that, see, Barack Obama did not go to the Iranians' Republican Guard and deal with Tehran's intelligence community to keep that secret. This guy went to a Russian facility specifically for the purpose of keeping the United States government unaware of what they were doing. What they were doing, we're still trying to investigate right now. But what he did right now is enough to cause a lot of concern and make sure that this investigation proceeds a lot further.
Another matter that the president is currently facing is his president attorney, Michael Cohen, is possibly could face investigation by the House and Senate Intelligence Committee. Now his personal attorney is saying that he will gladly testify if Congress subpoenas him. A lot of things have been said about, first of all, the need for the president to have to hire a personal attorney in this way to go. Agree with this whole method?
He has no choice. The president is under investigation himself. He probably realizes that by now. Now he got a lawyer, and now his lawyer is lawyering up. If you follow that along the way, you cannot get away from the fact that, again, the administration is in trouble. The Russians are behind the scene, and the reporting that we've been doing is trying to figure out how the Russians have been able to accomplish what they've been able to accomplish. Their method of operation so far, and it's not just with the United States, it's with Germany, France, and anywhere else that they can find a way to disrupt the West, the entire West, not just the United States, but the West in general, by disrupting their elections, creating doubt, creating confusion. And if you look at Washington, again, you have to say that President Putin is having one big laugh because he's moving his agenda, and his agenda is to destroy, to make sure that Donald Trump has no way of achieving his.
And the question, I guess, on the hearts and minds of many people here is, given the fact that we're doing all this, the Russian investigation, what's going on in Washington, D.C., we're talking about Michael Cohen right now, a lot of people are worried about policy and being able to govern America effectively.
But,
And how is America going to be governed effectively when most of our time, most of our media, most of this is being governed or being dominated by investigations and the threat of and the threats we see?
well, it's pretty obvious that there isn't any governing going on right now. The Trump administration is in protection or siege mode, if you will. When everyone in the administration is essentially has an attorney and their attorneys are telling them that they really shouldn't be talking about this, they shouldn't be talking about that. It's difficult for these individuals to meet in an office and be able to figure out a way forward for the country. There's a lot of pressure, not only on the president, but there's a lot of pressure on everybody within his sphere. And again, the fact, one of the issues that we were able to ferret out is the fact that this is a month of Ramadan right now. The State Department does not have a full staff. In fact, there's a lot of empty desks. The reason why they missed that one and didn't have an event scheduled for that is because really Rex Tillerson has no help behind the scenes. And that's one of the reasons why we're facing all these issues. That's one of the reasons why when Trump went abroad unprepared, Sean Spicer yesterday was on air talking about, oh, we had a great time, things went well with the G7, things went well at NATO, and a day later, this is what he was saying yesterday. But the reports that are coming out is that Angela Merkel is pretty much fed up with Donald Trump in the United States and made a statement that Europe is going to have to go on their own. The Italian Prime Minister yesterday echoed those sentiments precisely, saying that Europe needs to take its own future in its own hands. I believe personally that Vladimir Putin has placed the United States in a situation where they've actually isolated
80
themselves.
people so far have been killed in this attack.
They've actually isolated themselves from the rest of the world, and I think that Europe will start to pull back. Fewer deals will be made, fewer agreements will be offered, because essentially they just can't trust Donald Trump.
As we talk about the trust of the president, I guess a lot of questions about midterm elections. We've had this conversation before. With all that's going on right now, we know how midterm elections are getting ready to come around the corner. How much do you think this is going to play a part in voters coming out to the polls?
Well, you know what? People are constantly looking around to find out whether or not his base is being affected by this. There's a lot of people who will stick by him no matter what, but it's difficult to see in 6 months from now, looking down the road, whether or not the president is able to get enough done to keep people in his corner. When these folks realize that the health care plan that's going to be presented to them is not going to be anywhere near what Donald Trump promised, when they don't see those jobs coming back, when they don't see those, the big money folks, when they don't see the tax reform going through or the tax being lowered significantly, they're going to start to pull back because these folks have to go back to their town halls, they got to face their constituents, and they're going to have to explain, again, with a great deal of depth, why they're still supporting Donald Trump. I don't see that happening. I see people pretty much looking out for their own good down the line.
And one of the major moves that he had coming out of being elected president was the fact that he was able to sustain jobs at Carrier. Mm-hmm. But looking now, Carrier just announced last week, of course, that 300 of those jobs are now going to be cut and other jobs are going to Mexico. What does this do for the president's image by way of Carrier? Because in all fairness, Carrier did say that some jobs were still going to be lost in spite of the fact that the president's showing up.
But you have to take this in context. 300 jobs, 1,000 jobs is actually a drop in the bucket considering the United States, in order to maintain a decent economy, has got to create between 190 and 235,000 jobs every month. That's not happening. He's had a couple of good months up until now, but when you look behind the numbers and see the types of jobs that are being created, the pay scale that these jobs are delivering, it's nothing that one can hang their hat on and say that we should move forward in this direction. So no, again, the job issue, the healthcare issue, the tax issue, the infrastructure bill issue, his policy, foreign policy with regards to what's happening in Afghanistan, what's happening in Iraq right now, they're all under some serious, serious pressure.
Gotta get you out of here, but before I do, let me ask you one last
Certainly.
question. Democrats don't have a blank check in this midterm election, obviously with the Republican Party and some of the failings that are going on, admittedly, in-house. What do Democrats have to do in order to seize back at least the House and possibly some sort of seats in the Senate?
Well, as I've said many times before, I believe the Democrats are going to have to come up with a plan. See, the same issues that Donald Trump and the GOP is facing with regards to artificial intelligence, robotics, the fact that it's going to be a difficult time preparing Americans for the future economy, they have to have a plan. They have to be able to come out of the gate and say, this is how we're going to get people back to work. This is what your health plan is going to look like. This is we're going to do something other than transfer wealth from the rich from the poor to the rich. They have to do that numerically and do it on a regular basis, and they have to do it with fresh faces, new leadership, and other than that, they're going to find themselves we'll find ourselves in the same predicament that we were before, bad and worse.
Lee Bonds, that's why we bring you here. J.C. Polanco off this week. J.C. will join us probably next week. Lee, thanks a lot.
That'd be good to see him too.
All righty.
All right.
Well, saying Lee referenced Ramadan, we want to bring some breaking news coming out of Kabul. A huge suicide bomb goes off in Kabul, Afghanistan. 80 people are dead. 300 are believed to be injured. Now, the suicide bomber has not yet been identified. Those who are responsible for the bombing have not yet claimed who is responsible for it, but yet and still one of the deadliest during the time of Ramadan. So we'll continue to bring you more information in our news and international news this week and next week as we continue here on Open. Taking a quick break. We'll be back with more show coming up right after this.